month. Polar Express if you bring your pajamas.
I'm waiting to go to Disney first.
Took my grandkids last year on that French Lick to Polar Express. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They do a really good job down there. They actually ride a train and they go for.
Mm-hmm. I'm just not looking forward to the.
Hey, man, like a library in there. That truck out there, the one we waited 3 years for,
Yes, sir.
it's a beauty.
In the back? Oh,
It's a beauty.
Is that your daily driver now? It is.
we're on.
It is.
It's a dump truck?
Go look at it. It's a beauty.
Can we go for a ride? Back?
We get started. It's like tonight.
Well, it is the water department. so
300?
It's not gonna look like that much longer.
Yeah, stainless steel box.
It's gonna be all night.
Trying.
Still in the box. We gotta put it together.
Go in the box.
It's a Hugo.
Pretty truck.
It's blue.
Yes, sir.
And it's got decals.
First sign of,
Use about 5-10 minutes.
How often do they wipe down the inside of these?
It's hard to keep that clean because that's replacing a slop truck. So
A what truck?
a slop truck that we use on water main breaks.
Yeah.
It's,
You mean the wet sand and mud?
oh, yes.
Yeah, but it's prepared to plow too.
But I figured, oh, yes, it's, they can fly.
Belly plow?
No,
No belly.
front mount.
How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Shouldn't they burn Labor Day?
Oh, man.
Just cooking breakfast. Yeah. Sausage and pickle put in the oven. And originally gave me one sheet of it. So it wasn't rigid enough, it
Yeah.
started sagging in the middle, so putting it in, like. You got one? Right on the elbow.
Oh.
Yeah, it's never, so keep it as an FYI, to stay on all.
Yeah, you'll feel that way. What are we feeling? Burn on his
Wonderful.
hand?
Did you, go look at the truck? Or did you?
When
see it?
I, you know what, my knee hurts. I'll see it.
When you
I'll
leave.
see it when I leave.
Okay.
I'll need to do double duty on this thing.
No.
Danielle, how are you today?
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Did you go see the truck?
I did not. But now that I'm up, maybe perhaps I will.
Is that a GMC?
Western Star?
Yes,
Hard to find them. Hard to find any trucks out there.
yes, it is. And our street truck is actually ready to go too. It's just like that.
You gonna let Anton drive it?
No,
Right. They're very nice.
no, it'll be nice.
Is it blue because it's the water truck?
Did you really?
That, they always have.
Paul always tells me when we leave the house, play nights in the sand.
Oh, yeah, yeah, and that's ugly.
It's anything bad.
Ugly.
I'm just making fun. I didn't say she did.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow street, but I'm changing that to red.
There's some interesting buttons in there.
And they
You
took,
I met my wife.
see those little controls, that's your snowplow. I pulled the yellow tab.
But no, the horn didn't work.
Oh, it's because I powered it off for that reason.
We were
I
trying.
didn't see.
All right, sure.
Oh, that's not the EV units. No. I don't know how long. You know.
I'm sure I just among those. Well, what? Unfortunately, you got shot.
Very nice.
College camp.
Oh, it's going to, yeah.
Guess if you don't like somebody, shoot.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
that's
that's
where we're at.
That's where it goes, man.
It's the Wild West again. What you doing? You gonna go see Dick Diamond tonight?
I think we might get over there.
Indeed.
Is that an official Munster shirt? It's a nice looking shirt.
It's not official, not my shirt.
Nice catch up.
You know, I'm thinking that Parks Department should wear all green shirts with like a Smokey the Bear. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
I saw it not too long ago. I almost got it.
So before you start, can I, like,
It's recording,
that's fine. I have a question about the technology. So,
or lack thereof.
yeah, so see how that's like showing everybody that's in the meeting, right? There's different views you can have in Zoom. So last night, I was, you know, I had all kinds of things I needed to do, but I really wanted to watch the planning commission. So from Munster, oh yeah, it was fast.
To watch both of them.
So when I went in, on my screen was the document that was being, you know, whatever it was that was being presented, right, at the time. What is the view of the people? Is it that screen, or are they looking at the document as well, or are they looking at what we're looking at right now?
No, they're looking at the document. All the documents.
So-
Screen's full.
Do we, sitting here, if there's a document on the screen, know who else is watching?
I am watching over there and I know who's on and I have a little record of who's on virtually.
Okay, but like in a plan commission meeting, you're not here, right?
I am not here.
I mean, at least I didn't see your smiling face last night.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, please. It's a new one. I am just cranking up, for $1 million. It's a separate certification. I got one yesterday and one today. I got the advance was just approved.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Jonathan, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Hey, Wendy, is the August 27th agenda review meeting, is that available
August
online?
Agenda review. I'm looking. It should be, I will follow up with, it should be on our YouTube channel. I'll follow up. Since we don't have Charlie anymore, but we've been relying on the school town and the tech to do that. Oh, I keep looking at you back there. You're there. We rely on them and they may not have been aware that that was a regularly scheduled meeting.
It should be.
It should be on YouTube.
Yeah, you send it to them.
Yeah. I said it on the very next line.
Right.
So I'm gonna see if I can. Have you looked on YouTube? It's not on our website, it's on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I don't see it on YouTube right now.
seen it either.
Yeah,
We'll send it to him again, we'll send it to him again.
I've made a note of it, I'll
Okay,
send it.
thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Stop driving. You shouldn't be driving unless you can see this horse. It's not good. Gee, could you write him up a ticket?
Slow my truck. Chuck, are you driving that dump truck?
Yeah, it looks like it. Gotta make a delivery.
Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Everybody ready?
Yes.
Okay, agenda, public hearing. 2026 budget.
So this is the required public hearing. It was advertised timely. The public hearing will be only for the topic of the 2026 budget. Later on, you'll have the first reading of the ordinance. The ordinance is on its prescribed form by the LGF. We know that the growth factor for property taxes has been capped at 4%, which was expected. That was in statute previously. The budget that's being presented includes the day-to-day requests from department heads for their basic operations as well as capital. It also contemplates a 2% cost of living increase for all regular full-time and firefighters. It includes and assumes that there will be 50 sworn police officers for the full year. It also includes the recently approved positions at the last meeting. There's also a 3% increase for the medical insurance, which we know that that's the actual number, as well as 7% for dental insurance. We've also included an increase for the NIPSCO charges that we know are coming, those with that rate hike. It also contemplates using TIF funds for police officers to cover some of those wages. This was the matter of a work study that council had about a week or so ago. There's nothing really different or new from that. There was a separate session to discuss SCA 1. We've implemented those things that have already been implemented are still included here. And it's your basic budget. And again, you'll have a public hearing and then later the ordinance with final adoption scheduled for October.
We got any questions over that? Okay, next is ordinance 1991, first reading.
You skipped over,
What I skip, I'm going off of,
we're going off the list. So you have old business.
okay, sorry. Okay, I was on that too. So, okay, sorry about that. So we'll have a public hearing for the thing. We have the consent agenda. Dental business ordinance 1990.
This is the second reading for the responsible credit ordinance, but there has been an amendment. There's been additional information provided by Dave since what was presented at the last meeting. So I'll let Dave, if you want to speak to that.
Sure, so there were 3 or 4 iterations of the responsible bidder ordinance that were kind of floating around. And the original one that was produced was one of those. There have been changes, and if you look at the red line version, I think you can see it's primarily in paragraph Roman numeral I, letter E, add some verbiage that with regard to the apprenticeship, I don't know that it really changes the substance of the spirit of the ordinance. It doesn't really change what you're doing. There was a couple time to correct a typo or two as well. So it's ostensibly the same, but it's the one that the laborers and the unions are requesting now. We looked at previously, the ordinance that you did on first reading was the exact replica of what Dyer had passed a couple of years ago, and unions have updated their requests, so, updated the ordinance, so the revised version is the kind of latest and greatest.
And we went from 200 to 300.
We went from, for the bid, it's 200, and then down in M, for contract is estimated at 300, certification of the bidder and all subcontractors. So if you're over 300, you've got to also certify your subcontractor.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Any questions?
The statute requires bidding at 150.
Mhm.
This ordinance comes into the fact that a threshold of 200, so.
Okay. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. When you say 200, you say 200.
I'm saying what?
What
sorry.
does the 200 represent?
Cost of the project.
200,000
Of what you're bidding, yeah.
And over.
And over, right.
and the other one would have been 300.
If you're over 300, then you've also got additional certifications for your subcontractors, if there are any. But at 200, the general contractor is responsible for the ordinance.
So anything under 200 little piddly things, we could get bids by anybody.
All right. We have a lot of projects that we're well over.
That's the point. That's kind of the,
That
my
was on there last
understanding was
time,
that
Dave.
was the,
Yeah.
Making sure I
Okay.
understand.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? Okay. Next one is new business ordinance 1991.
That's the budget ordinance, that we would have the opportunity to discuss during the public hearing, and then here again, you'll be asked to have a motion to hear on first reading and then schedule adoption for the October 6th meeting.
Any questions on ordinance 1991? Next, acceptance of surety bond.
Why did that's usually a consent agenda item.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Could we add it in there?
We'll move it up.
Sure if I coded it incorrectly, but that's, in a few months, we'll be asked to do it for the redevelopment commission, board of safety, myself.
What, I'm sorry, what's being moved to the consent agenda, please?
The approval of the surety bond for our town manager.
Okay,
Okay, next.
Thank
comes
you.
Sure.
Approval of FIT and CVET funds.
So the most recent session of the General Assembly, one of the things that they changed was how financial institution tax, FIT, and commercial vehicle excise tax, CVET, get distributed. Historically, they get distributed on a prorated basis based on how much property tax a given fund receives. The law now changes so that they will automatically put it only, both of those into your general fund unless council takes an action to say they want something different done. Council has to take some type of action, and what we're asking for is that council approve allowing this next distribution to be prorated among the property tax funds. That's how the budget was contemplated. It assumed that these funds were going to receive these dollars. But then starting in 2026, all FIT and CVET will go into the general fund moving forward. Now, that can always be changed. And we would just come to council. If council wanted to change, we would just take another action to say how you would want to distribute it.
Any questions on that? Okay, moving forward, Centennial Village tax abatement.
This item is the request from Matt Kimmel to get the tax abatement for his units at the condominiums. You may remember that he submitted his application previously, but at that time it included units that were known to be rented. And, we asked him multiple times to remove those units, which he did. So he resubmitted his application with an updated list that supposedly only includes those units that are owner occupied. Sergio is in the process of cross-checking that list against the list of units that he knows to be rented, and make sure those rental units are not included on the list that, Matt Kimmel's providing to us.
Jimmy, just quickly update on that. We do have 5 applications on file that are also on the list as owner occupied. So we're going to highlight those and then include the applications with the applicant that signed them and cross and highlight them on the sheet that identifies as owner occupant so that you can correlate the two together. For your decision.
So he included 5 that
We're
we
finding-
believe are rentals.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there are 5 that we have rental applications for on file that are also on the owner occupied list.
And Sergio, just, I mean, obviously verify this, but unit 404 is owned by the Matthew G. Kimmel Self-Declaration Trust. I assume that's him.
So the units that I have currently right now are units 302, 303, 307, 309, and 312.
One more time, 2, 3, 7, 12, what did I miss?
9,
9.
309.
But like 404, I would question because I assume that's Mr. Kimmel. Mr. Kimmel has a big old house in Briar Ridge that he lives in. So I don't think he's living there.
I think his son lives in the building. I don't know if that's.
Should we, hold this off till the next council meeting so we can verify these?
Yeah, I would rather verify before
Yeah,
we pass
instead of
this.
rushing
So
it.
absolutely, no.
Okay.
And we're gonna work, staff and I, we're gonna work tomorrow again on this
Okay.
matter, but yeah, we can put off on it.
Let's move that.
We'll take that.
I'd be better if we,
But I was gonna ask, let's just say he has a second residence. Many of us do. If he owns it, would that then still qualify?
Yeah, the way the development agreement reads is that it can't be a rental. unit. So if he's got a second residence that he's living in part-time and he drives the mile and a half because he needs to get away, then yeah, that would work.
Or he puts a family member in it or
Or if it's a
whatever.
family member, yeah, as long as he's not renting.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that.
It's just, it was one that stuck out to me and it needed to be checked out.
Okay, so we'll table this till next, so we get all the,
I agree, we should have all the data.
okay, move forward, approval of contract for recruitment services. Jim.
So when we talked about the staffing in the town manager's office, we talked about recruitment for the assistant town manager position, and I mentioned that this position really should be recruited through a recruiting company, a consultant, as you've done in the past with some positions. So I got prices from 3 different companies, and that's shown in the memo I sent you. One is from Organizational Development Solutions, one is from CPS HR Consulting, and one is from MGT. I did contact Baker Tilly. I know you've used them in the past. I was surprised to find out that they're winding down their executive recruitment services. So Baker Tilly is no longer providing that service, so I wasn't able to get a price from them. So these are the prices I received. You see there's 2 versions, a full scope and a limited scope. And the prices vary between $16,000 from ODS, $25,000 from CPS, and $26,000 from MGT for the full scope. And I also included here a list of the number of recruitments they've done since 2021 that pertain to either town manager or assistant town manager positions. And as you can see, CPS and MGT by far perform those types of recruitments quite a bit nationally. So my preference is that we go with CPS HR Consulting at their full scope, which is $25,000 to perform a recruitment for the assistant town manager.
Any questions on this?
So there's companies out of California.
That's what they're based out of, yes.
Do they have in Indiana? What's their base of where they?
They don't have an office here, if that's what you mean, but they recruit nationwide. They have recruiters that are, I think, designated for specific areas of the country, and they have a recruiter that's designated for the Midwest.
Any other questions?
MGT is based in Atlanta. I don't know that they have other offices within the country, but they're based out of Atlanta.
Thank you. Moving on, approved contract with American Structure.
So this was discussed previously at a meeting and was asked to be deferred while we discussed the budget back in May. Recall that the American Structure Company came out and gave a presentation at a agenda review meeting on the services they would provide to prepare a strategic communications plan. So I'm just bringing this to you again to see if you're interested now in moving forward with engaging their services, to put together the plan as they originally presented.
Any questions?
You broke that down, right? Not the way that they presented it. You came back to them and said, break this down into what parts that we were interested in. Correct?
Yes, they segregated it out into different components, the main components of the work they're gonna do, and priced it out individually. Now, the price difference isn't that much different. The original price was about $83,000.
Jim, Jim,
Yes.
my understanding is that this contract is gonna cost the town, what, $80,000 over the first year, is that right?
82,600, right, I believe is the amount.
Okay, so you couple that with the staffing hires that have occurred, the assistant town manager, the EDO, and the communications director. And all those expenditures are what, in the territory of about $330,000?
Yes, I mean, are you asking? Yes, I don't.
Okay, and and we could expect that to be a annualized continuing expense in that amount.
Well, the expense for American Structure Point would not be an annual expense. The idea here is they would prepare the strategic plan, and then we would hire a communications director to then be the staff person that would implement that plan on an ongoing basis. So the salary of that staff member would be an ongoing expense, but the cost for American Structure Point, what they'd be doing would be a one-time cost.
Okay, but are they gonna, I guess that's what I'm driving at, because I wasn't clear on that. Are there expected continued expenses that were going to be incurred by the town with this company after the first year?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Move on, resolution 2156, road salt purchase.
This is the annual agreement with NDOT for the road salt purchase. This year, we're getting 2,500 tons, and the price is $222,275.
Any questions?
Is that about normal?
Yes.
What was last year? You know?
I think it was $87 a ton. This year was $89.91 a ton.
Expert spreaders.
Let's go with fountain inner removal.
This is to remove all the ponds from the ponds and store them for the winter time. This is with aquatic controls, price of that. Oh, yes, sir. $8,218 plus the two fountains at Centennial for $850.
Any questions? Moving on, SCH Road Improvement Engineering Design Agreement.
This is the fun one. So CCMG 25-2 is now eliminated and it has become CCMG 2026. SCH is going to be doing the design for these roadways. We will have to add roads to the roadways, so the numbers that you see for $68,000 and $49,000 are to be determined yet. We are not at that point. I will find those numbers out probably tomorrow afternoon for the next council meeting, so I will provide those new numbers by the weekend. Correct.
And it says the streets are Singleton, Ridgeway, Berry, Primrose, Cedar, South.
And we're going to add more roads. We have to add more roads because we need to accommodate for $2.2 million in roads.
Okay.
The roads we listed right now are about 765,000 or something in that area. But I'd like to keep this on the agenda. I will rework the memo, and have the actual figures for you guys, but keep it on the agenda because we need to keep this process moving so we can apply for this road project.
Any other questions? And then, next, moving on, release block 5 surety bond, right?
This is, for community, formation, block 5 subdivision. This is the immediate care facility site. They have, completed the improvements on the site and public improvements, including treadway and South Powers Drive. We're asking that the council consider or allow the clerk treasurer to release the existing performance bond of $2.9 million and establish a 2-year maintenance bond for about $450,000.
Any questions on that? Let's move along. Amendment to NIPSCO lease agreement.
So we have a current agreement from 1998 to allow us to have the bike trails in the NIPSCO corridor from the state line to Hart Ditch. We do not have currently permission to cross the ditch and land in Highland, nor to extend the south line that will run down that north-south corridor to Marble Street. This amendment adds those two areas. The document that's as part of your agenda has the full construction set of plans, so it really documents and defines it that way. But I don't know if Dave had any other, got a chance to review it, but that's basically what this amendment to that existing agreement is.
So we need to get this done because they
Yeah, this is kind of, they knew this was coming. It's been through so many reiterations. This wasn't a surprise, but it was like, okay, now that you're finally, we know you're official. When they heard that we were doing a groundbreaking, okay, let's make sure we get this agreement. So this is kind of one of the dotting of the i's, crossing the t's towards that project.
Any questions on this? Let's move along to the whatever cell riser pumps.
So this is part of the landfill issues, the leachate, which
Yeah.
is the broken down liquid that happens within the landfill, needs to be pumped out. So this is, we've done several different projects out there to make that system work. This is something that we're required by IDEM to make sure to work. You have in your packet a detailed memo from Derek at Andrews Engineering, who does all of our reporting for the town on the landfill. But we're recommending this approval. We will now have a fully rebuilt leachate system once we do these pumps. We had done the electrical panels and everything else feeding it, thinking the old pumps would have worked. Once those panels were upgraded and replaced, they didn't work. So we got to replace these pumps to make that system work. There's also two, if you've ever gone down that pathway along Calumet there's two dome plexiglass covers out there. That's where the leachate gets pumped to before it gets sent into the system. Those covers are very brittle, and part of this proposal is to replace those covers as well, just to give us a safer situation out there.
And total cost is $177 on that.
Yes, and this would be out of the solid waste funds,
Okay.
Is what covers these expenses.
And the leachate is pumped where?
Into the sanitary system, so it eventually ends up at the Hammond Sanitary District.
And they're expecting it?
Yes.
I asked them because periodically they say, oh, wait a minute, you can't send us that.
Earlier, you might remember, we talked that one of the other proposals, early this year, maybe it was late last year, had a flow meter. that was just like a meter coming in your house for water, this is the flow meter, how much is being pumped into that system, so we'll have a very good reporting number there. Derek, who does our reports, IDEM wants to know that number too, so this system will now allow us to be able to get all those accurate numbers.
Have we been quoted a price?
Yes, this work is, we are.
No, for the leachate being processed at Hammond Sanitary.
The treatment?
Yes.
We've been doing this from day one. It's from, well,
I asked because sometimes they get funny and I.
yeah, no, this is included within the existing.
Should go
there's no
within our
additional
standard
cost.
flow and standard
Correct.
rates.
Correct.
We just have to tell them how many thousands of gallons we sent.
They've never, since I've been here, they've never asked for us for our number that comes into, because it just goes into the general system of what ends up at that district, so they've never asked for that. They could, we'll have a good
Yeah.
number to be able to report to them now if. They
Unless
do
they
ask,
ask,
but that's
don't give it.
something to be aware of, yeah.
Well, they know what's coming in.
I mean,
Budget. You know, they meter it.
Okay, let's move on to the parcel partial release.
This one, the late entry into the list here, I can't really speak to this, I'm not sure the history of it. Sergio, are you familiar with this?
Let's see.
So this,
Okay.
Sergio, is
Okay.
lot 4 at Lake Business, where the PUD ordinance 1988 was approved by the planning commission. So you would know better when they were, Scott Yaney, and it's a,
Wasn't out here. I don't know anything about it. Or wait, is this when they created lot 4?
Yeah.
Yes,
This is
okay.
lot 4.
so the PUD was approved by the planning commission
Yeah.
and subsequently approved by the council. I just not familiar specifically with what the project is that they're putting in at Lake Business. Is it?
Oh, for
That's
lot
Rush.
4? That's the Rush or.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they needed to sell the property to this entity, Munster MOB1, which is the entity that's gonna own the land so they can put the Rush in there. And as part of that sale, what came up on the title work was the financing covenant from back when we did the deal with Mr. Simborg and Mr. Goldberg back in 2011, and Mr. Nellens probably remembers that. That financing covenant is a cloud on the title, and so they asked that we consider removing that cloud on the title so that they could transfer the property free and clear. What you have in front of you is a partial release, and what the release does is it says that they will develop the property pursuant to the PUD ordinance, which is ordinance 1988, that was recommended by the Plan Commission and approved by the council. But that the other development standards that were on the originally in the financing agreement back in 2011 get removed. And I had them add in so that there was no mistake that any taxes are still paid into the TIF. Just because I didn't want a full release of this financing covenant, right? So that what it does is it allows them to build the property pursuant to ordinance 1988, which is the PUD ordinance that was recommended by the Plan Commission and approved by the council. And allows them to transfer the property without that financing covenant inhibiting them in terms of development.
there's still money owed.
On the tip, yes.
Is that the only money owed? That we're concerned about?
That's, well, what I was concerned about was they presented me originally with a full release. So I was concerned about two things. Number one, that property's taxes are being paid in to the TIF account. And a full release could be read to say that the property is not subject to that. So that's addressed in this release. The second thing was, I told them you've already agreed with the council and you're subject to ordinance 1988 and the land use provisions in there that you all have agreed to with the plan commission and then subsequently the council. So that has to stay in place. And I want those items specifically delineated in this release, and they did that.
Okay, thank you.
We go on to the next topic. The 2026 banner program.
This current year, the Munster Chamber came to the council and they asked to do banners along the Ridge Calumet corridor. The council, it was to celebrate their 100 years, and council said, yep, we did it for the first time. We bought brackets. I believe intended to do the project in future years. The paper's now coming to council. They want to know if they can do it again in 2026, and it will be a hometown heroes, acknowledging anyone who served in the armed forces, public safety officers, and other community leaders. I think that there's a couple of things that we needed to clarify. Are there other organizations that maybe would like the banner program? The chamber did it this year for their 100 year. What's the money going towards? Is it for profit for the chamber? I think they had talked about giving some back to armed forces, like the veterans, but it's not stated as such in the proposal. So I almost recommend that I recommend that we discuss this at our next agenda review again. If you're interested in moving forward, and perhaps have someone from the chamber here to further clarify what their plan is.
I think this is a great program, but not for the chamber. I think if we can approach, what do you call it? What's the VFW for Munster?
With the American Legion.
The American Legion.
Frank Darrington?
Yeah, I think we should approach him and see what we can do with him. Just like I think this would be great for the schools too, to have, kids up there like you see in other towns, whether it's sports related or not sports. It's a moneymaker. It really is. And I think we need to get into this too.
I'm gonna ask, who pays for the banners? Who buys them?
Well,
They're sponsored, and then the chambers wrote the check to pay for them.
Right, the sponsorship, so we
Through using sponsor money.
go out through the community and find sponsors.
so like the Lions, we bought 3 of them. We paid for everything,
Right,
and plus some.
Right,
Yes.
right.
right, so,
And installation.
And installation, we.
Yeah,
paid
and
for that.
taking them down.
so then based on the subject matter, individuals of the Lions or any organization may decide they would sponsor, this wouldn't be now a Lions banner, this would now be Hometown Hero,
Yeah.
Joe Smith.
Yes.
So,
I could put my dad up there, or, whoever served, and you see it in other towns, it's great, but I just think another organization should look at it.
and I think, the chamber had planned to give some of the revenue to specific organizations, but that's not defined in here. So I think that needs to be clarified. So, because I don't know that, I'm making an assumption on the veterans organizations. I don't know if they have the time. And this, like, the chamber has a staff to coordinate with Bowman to get the banners made, proofed, and all of that. I don't know, Frank would be able to.
And I was gonna say,
Or the FOP.
I don't know that the town wants to,
Oh, no, well.
I'm just,
No.
my comment is I don't think we want to.
Do we want to see if American Legion is interested?
Or do you want to talk chamber first?
See if the chamber, how much they want to give.
Exactly.
I mean, if they're
Yeah.
willing to do the heavy work
Mhm.
and they want to give X amount percentage of the profits back to X organizations.
Because I think they're gonna get more banners.
Well, there's a maximum. I don't remember what the number is off the top of my head. We only had
77.
something like that, and they were pretty close to sold out. They were about 150.
This was business.
They were businesses and individuals.
I bought it.
I bought one.
If I could make an observation, suggestion, is that, in my opinion, banners that are up, extremely hard to read. Extremely hard to read. And then you can see like hey, there's a logo of Munster, but it's just, I mean, if these ones, if you're gonna show a picture of somebody, like, you wanna be able to see like, oh, there's.
They have two different options that are, they've taken that into account in the design for 2026. They've learned, in fact, they look very similar to what Highland has for their hometown.
Those are.
So,
So let's change this, so let's get some more information. Yeah, those are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're great.
They're gonna do that big.
or this one with a bigger picture.
Yeah.
So there's some options. We've got flexibility.
Are the Highland banners
They're
taller
up.
than ours?
I don't think they're bigger than ours. I think ours are big. Ours just the proportion didn't turn out great this year.
The cost of install those.
Takes a bucket truck, two laborers,
Yeah.
attenuator.
Yeah, but what, give us.
I don't put a number on it, it's just
It took a couple days, didn't it,
Yeah.
for you guys to do it?
2-3 days.
And it'll probably take a day to take them down. And
Say a week. One, two work with chamber.
And
yeah,
I was gonna say,
I read it a little closer today and I thought that.
if the banners are longer, it really would take a little more time, you just have to lower.
Lower the
raise
brackets.
So. Enough on this.
I'm gonna, we'll move it till, to next time.
Because they got till April.
Right, they've got plenty of time.
So the banner program and the tax abatement is being moved to the October 30th.
Yes, please. And then with redevelopment, we have nothing. And that's it. Anything good of the order?
Yeah, I want to weigh in here, please. At the last council meeting, we had a public comment from a resident talking about cut-up homes. And this is a problem that is landing here in Munster. George, you may remember we were on the radio, WJOB in 2023, and that this came up as a topic. Cut-up homes are basically a situation where the most typical scenario, grandpa and grandma pass away, the house is inherited by the grandkids. It ends up, one of the grandkids buys out the other grandkids, and they decide they're going to turn grandpa and grandma's house into a moneymaker. And they go to Menards and they get a bunch of drywall, and they chop up the property. And what was a single family home is now a 9-unit or something like that. It has been just an incredible problem. Our neighbor to the north, Hammond, has been dealing with this for the last 25 years. And it has tremendous negative impacts on the community. From negatively affecting property values to negatively affecting the quality of the neighborhoods. And this is something that we have to start dealing with. The way I have observed Hammond dealing with it is their zoning enforcement is they get vigorous in enforcing zoning, and they don't tolerate these cut-ups. And if you think about it, these things are happening in single family or two family zoned areas. So I don't know how people could pull permits. Often they don't, they just do it. And you see a whole bunch of mailboxes out front as one indicator, and there's a bunch of other indicators. People in our community development department, our code enforcement department, it's my opinion that they need to become aware of this. I'd be more than happy to sit down and talk to staff and explain to them my experience with this. But this is something that we need to start dealing with, and we need to give clear directions to our staff that this is something that we don't want here in Munster, in my opinion.
No, none of us do, but Dave, could you weigh in on this with the state statute and?
Well, what Mr. Peterson is talking about is different. Cut up homes are a unique, a specific problem, right? There are other issues, you know. I think that a meeting should take place. I agree with that.
Is there stuff we could do in the future to prevent this?
Right, but yes, is the answer, but it depends specifically on what the definition of this is, right? Like, as we've talked about, there's a difference between I live in my house and I have 2 empty bedrooms and I Airbnb those 2 bedrooms while I'm living there, right? Like owner occupied. That's a different scenario than what Mr. Peterson is talking about right now. What Mr. Peterson is talking about is I go buy a house and I cut it up and have separate living quarters, right? The example he gave was 9 separate living quarters. That's a difference, and we can certainly sit down and talk about
That, but
those types of issues, right? But that's a different issue versus an owner occupied Airbnb, which is,
what's happening right now on Ridge Road?
well, I don't know that.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, but hang on, let's weigh in here. Even if the owner is doing that and they're trying to say it's Airbnb, there's a limitation on how many units that can exist in that property. And that's a zoning code issue. And I think the Airbnb statute that you're referring to can be interpreted harmoniously with the zoning code. Ridge Road, to my understanding, is pretty uniformly zoned as single family or maybe single family 2-unit. If we get somebody that's trying to make an argument that this is my house and I've got an Airbnb for 9 separate rentals, there's an argument here that that's outside the scope of what's contemplated under the zoning code. So our friends in Hammond have a lot of experience with this. There's a lot of case law that's out there, and there's ways to deal with this that are consistent with our enforcement authority under the zoning statute. So what I'm going to suggest we do is I can circulate some dates and we can schedule a workshop meeting with members of community development and any other departments that should be involved. And we can start a conversation about this. It'd have to be sometime next week at the earliest. And we open the conversation about what, number one, we define the problem. And then number two, we define where we want to end up as we address the problem.
Questions? Comments?
Well, I guess at the end of the day, are we going to attempt to limit this, ban it totally? Or assign it to the industrial park?
well, I think what Mr. Peterson's suggesting is a conversation and a work study to get your arms around it, where then you chart a strategy for dealing with it in the future. Jonathan, if I understood what you were saying.
Yeah, Dave, you're right. And I think we want to spread the net as wide as possible. And if we get enough council members that are interested in attending, Wendy, maybe that's something that you could notice up as a work study. And we go from there. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
We're gonna do it as a work study next week. Keep in mind, we need 48 hours notice, so let's get.
Understood. I'll circulate dates and we'll get all the relevant parties to weigh in. And if, like I said, if we get more than 2 council members interested, then we'll have to kick it back so you can do your job of noticing.
Get a sense of how many councils
Exactly.
are interested.
Well, I'd like
I
to
would like to be there.
I think you're gonna have more than 2.
Yes.
Okay, All right, well,
Oh, John.
let's circulate dates and, get something going. I think it sounds like we're gonna have counselors there. Is this something we could do at 4 o'clock and get staff to participate in? I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we'd want Sergio. I'm just gonna offer. If I can, I'll offer who I think from staff should be there. I think we need Sergio.
Yeah, we would accept that opportunity to coordinate schedules and discuss this matter.
Okay, and Sergio, I think you probably are gonna want Nicole, yourself, Nicole, you want Chuck and Jeff there? Because they've got,
Glenn.
Oh, Glenn.
or Glenn, I'm sorry. And we want Glenn there, because those are the guys that are gonna be in the front line, and we might want Lieutenant Broman and the code enforcement ladies there as well, because they're out and they're out there observing, and we've got, can pass along what they're seeing in the field.
If it's a big group, I'm looking at September 17th and Counselor Hopper can't make that. And September 22nd is 4 o'clock meetings. September 22nd would be we don't have a council meeting that day.
Let me see, what's that looking like on the count? September 22nd. Give me a second and I'll pull it up on my calendar.
We can't do so. That's right.
It's fine. I'll just.
We're looking at what time, 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock?
Yeah, can you move it a little earlier than 4?
Yeah,
On the 22nd
yeah, agree.
at 3.
Oh, you know what? That's a bad day for me. I've got a full day deposition on that day. How's the 23rd?
Tuesday, the 23rd. I'm not showing anything on our calendars. 23rd at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Could we do that, please?
Okay, and how would you like me to describe? We're discussing,
Zoning enforcement and, Dave Westland, what you think? Zoning enforcement and zoning and code enforcement issues related to housing?
I wouldn't even say related to any, I would just say zoning and code enforcement issues, period.
There you go.
all right, unless somebody has something, I'll get it advertised this afternoon. I'll be out of the office Thursday and Friday, so I want to try and get some of this stuff taken care of.
Wendy, that's for 3 p.m.
On the 23rd, 9/23, which is a Tuesday,
And it's 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Okay. I'll be there tomorrow this afternoon.
Thank you, and I'll try and include as many people, but if I omit, like the code enforcement women,
Jonathan, how long do you think this might take? Approximately.
I don't know, an hour. Here's how Dave, Dave Westland, do you have any experience with this in Hammond?
Yeah,
Okay, are you gonna be there?
that's why I'd asked that's why I'd asked that it come forward an hour.
All right, so conceptually, here's how I see it. We're gonna get reports from staff as to what they're seeing. We've got one property on Ridge Road that has caught the attention of people. I think then we start talking about experiences with enforcement. Dave, is that something you'd be willing to share?
Sure.
Okay. I can offer some experience. I've actually litigated these matters myself. And we can talk about what works. I think we talk about what doesn't work. And then we've got it's my understanding, we're gonna have the new zoning drafts coming out here imminently. Is that right?
Yeah, well,
Anybody?
Yeah, I can coordinate with the attorney, find out at what point we want to go ahead and turn everything over. Meeting with her tomorrow morning as well.
Okay. Is it possible that we can get those drafts out before this meeting?
Okay.
Because this might be something that we need to consider as far as those drafts. And then we get a consensus as far as the direction we're going. I don't know, hour and a half. That's about where I envision the length of the meeting.
Jonathan, what drafts of the zoning code are you referring to? The entire draft or just those portions related to this topic?
Well, I think the entire draft of the proposed zoning code is going to be ready to be released here any moment, right?
Well, Sergio, is it?
You have significant portions that are ready to be released.
Okay, so this is just the remainder, which I think includes a lot of the neighborhood zoning language.
Sure.
Yeah, so the neighborhood zoning language is really what's going to be topical. So if we can get that out, that can be helpful.
Yeah, that is complete.
Okay, if we can get that released, that's going to overarch the conversation.
Anything else? Okay, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of theft here.
Now, is that diesel or gasoline?
It's electric.